Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Meredith Phillips, and the 2024 SmoochPit Mentorship Program has officially come to a close. I have honestly had a spectacular time over the last several months, and I wanted to make a video to sort of conclude this experience, as well as provide a resource for potential future applicants. When I was looking into the program back in like July, August over the summer, I really had a hard time finding the level of detail in terms of the information that was available that I wanted about this program. I am the type of person where I'm like, I want all the minute details that are possibly retrievable on the internet, okay? The SmoochPit website definitely has a lot of good information. I'll link below to the website as well as their Instagram platform. You can go on Instagram and search the SmoochPit hashtag, and you'll find a lot of like previous mentees who have posted things about the program or posted, you know, like a wrap-up kind of post or whatever. But what I really wanted was a previous mentee's like detailed experience. What happens in the program? What did they like? What did they not like? All of the things. And on Instagram, most of what I was finding was posts where it was like, this was the best time ever, which is great, but it wasn't, I wanted the details. I also searched here on YouTube. I couldn't find anything here on YouTube regarding the program, I don't think whatsoever. So in this video, I'm gonna go into in-depth detail on the program, who it's for, what you need in order to apply, who should be applying, what the program was like, and all of the things. I'm also going to, of course, share the results of the agent showcase, which is kind of like the finale event, because we did get those results back earlier this morning. And if you've been following along, I don't know, you might be mildly interested to know how I fared. If you're watching this video at some point in the future and you're considering applying for the program and you have other questions for me, I would be more than happy to chat with you. You can either leave a comment on this video, you can email me, you can DM me on Instagram. The links for that are in the description. So one small caveat before we get into things, obviously I'm sharing my own personal experience. Your mileage may vary. I'm also only able to share about the third round of this program. That's what I was selected for, and that's what I participated in. This doesn't mean that aspects of the program might not change in the future. They might take certain things away. They might add new perks or whatever. I have no idea, but I would imagine a lot of this is going to stay pretty similar from year to year. The founders and like the organizers of this program are so passionate about helping up-and-coming writers that I think more than likely the program is going to expand in the future, which is fantastic. So let's first do a quick overview of what this program is and who it is for. SmoochPit is specifically for unpublished, unagented writers pursuing traditional publication and who are writing romance-heavy stories. It does not have to be a romance genre book. You might be writing a literary fiction or a women's fiction or a mystery book. You could be writing in another genre like officially. As long as there is a very strong romance subplot present, you can apply for this program. Within romance, of course, there's a wide variety of subgenres. I'm writing historical romance, but we had other mentees in the group who were writing horror romance, romantasy, contemporary romance, rom-coms. There was a huge variety. The mentorship officially offers 3 things to the selected mentees. You and the mentor who picked you are going to work on your query letter, your synopsis, and at least the first 50 pages of your manuscript. Mentors can offer to work on more of your book with you, but that's like the basic minimum requirement, the first 50 pages. I found that most, if not all, of the mentors offered to work on the whole book with their chosen mentee. I don't think I can think of anyone who was only focused on those first 50 pages, but officially, like, that's all they have to work on, so to speak. The mentors that are volunteering their time and energy to this program are either published authors, traditionally published authors, or they are writers who have an agent, right? They maybe have a book deal in the works, maybe they're on submission, but they've gotten to the point where they at least have an agent. The list of mentors that are going to participate in the next round were released in like mid-August, and they have huge profiles all over the website and on Instagram for each mentor. I would highly recommend, if you're thinking about applying for the program, go through each mentor's profile, check them out. What are they looking for? What are they interested in? Do you think you would like mesh with them to work? The round I participated in had 38 mentors, which I believe was more than the previous 2 rounds. And what ended up happening, the original idea for the program is like one mentor picks one mentee, right? But we had a couple mentors this round who picked 2 mentees. It was like they couldn't pick, and so they were like, I'll just take on 2, which is great. And then there were some other mentors that like teamed up. Like my mentor ended up teaming up with another mentor for another mentee. So like they kind of did a little bit of a mix and match. So even though there were only 38 mentors, we ended up with, I believe, 41 mentees. The mentors also open up to a Q&A. They had a whole schedule in, I think it was really early September, late August. I kind of forget the time frame at this point, but it was right before applications opened. Mentors did like a Q&A on their Instagram stories. So if you had any particular questions for any particular mentor or for the program in general, you could ask at that point. Finally, early September into mid-September, the application window opened. There was a week-long window where you could apply, and you needed a couple things in order to apply. You of course needed a completed manuscript, you needed a query letter, you needed a synopsis, and you needed a 1-sentence pitch. The application form also had some other questions on it, like what do you hope to gain from the program? What do you think are your strengths and weaknesses as a writer? Like that kind of thing. But those 4 like query package elements were the big things you needed. In terms of manuscript preparedness, your manuscript should not be a first draft. Don't apply with that. That's probably not, I mean, you could, but I don't think that's going to take you very far. It does need to be revised pretty extensively. I found that it's hard to say like how revised does it need to be. You probably should have gone through a couple rounds of revisions. The website, I thought, like initially when I was going to apply, I almost didn't apply because I was not sure if my manuscript was really ready and like polished to the point that they were looking for. The website kind of makes it sound like your manuscript should be like basically ready to query. And at the time, I was on like draft 3 of my manuscript, and I knew there were problems in it. I knew things I still wanted to fix. The ending was still a mess. Like I knew that there were issues. And so I was like, I don't know, is this like actually ready to apply? Obviously in the end, I did choose to apply, and it worked out. So do you need to have a manuscript that is like super polished and like as query ready as you can possibly make it? I don't think so. Mine certainly was not. The more polished and complete it is, I think the better chance you have of getting selected. But at the end of the day, like I say, just apply. If people look at it and they're like, nope, this isn't for me, then okay, you're no worse off than you were before you applied, right? I also wouldn't freak out too much about the query and synopsis. Part of the program is the mentor working with you to improve your query and synopsis. So should you spend a good amount of time trying to make those as presentable as possible? Yes. I don't think you should just slap something down and like send it off. Like take your time revising those pieces, but don't feel like they need to be in some like ultra polished format. I don't think the mentors are looking for textbook perfect query letters. Otherwise, like what's the point of them helping you if there's nothing to help with? You know what I mean? You know, definitely put effort into those, but don't go overboard and like stress out about them being perfect. They're not going to be, and that's fine. When you're applying, you get to select 3 mentors specifically that you were interested in working with. Those mentors will like consider your application over others, but all of the mentors can see all of the applications. So if there's another mentor that maybe you thought looked good, but like you could only pick 3, they can still request to see more of your work. And that's what happened to me. I got requests from 3 mentors, one of whom was not one that I had put on my like top 3 list or whatever. The other 2 were mentors that I'd specifically applied to. And what they can do is they can email you directly and ask for more of your manuscript. The application has the first 10 pages. They can ask for whatever they want. If they want to see the next 50, if they want to see the whole thing. I got requests for the whole thing and I sent those out. and then sat on pins and needles until the mentees were announced. Honestly, for me, just getting those like full requests from the mentors was such a win. I felt like that meant something was compelling, right? Either my query sounded good, my first 10 pages sounded good, the premise sounded good, something was landing, right? And that felt good. So I kind of was like, look, if nobody ends up picking me as a mentee, I will be very happy just knowing that it was good enough to request something. The mentees were announced in mid-October. I was very chill, and I was not at all surprised that I was selected. That wasn't real. It said me, like my whole name with the E in it and everything. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do now. Just kidding. I was selected by Alexandra Vasti, who's one of my favorite historical romance writers. I still am kind of like, are you sure like you actually wanted to pick me? Did you make a mix up and then it was too embarrassing and you had to like mentor me anyway? I don't think that's what happened, but the imposter syndrome is still so real. So shortly after that announcement went up on Instagram, we all got emails that had our mentor CC'd so that we could connect and work out a time to meet for the first time. We agreed on a time to meet in the following week. We did a little Zoom call. I was super nervous, but she is so incredibly nice, so it was fine. Now from there, it really depends on what you and your mentor want to do or have time to do. Some people had sent their manuscript to their mentor, and then it was like the mentor was gonna go through the whole thing and do line comments and do like a whole like developmental edit kind of situation. Some people started with that. For mine, when we met over Zoom, she had already read the full book, and her main thing that she wanted to point out that needed work was the ending. And if you've been here, you know the ending saga. I also knew that the ending was a disaster, so I was like, okay, totally agree. And she said, why don't you work on like the last quarter, last third of the book, do a big revision, and then resend me the project. And at that point, she went through it, did line comments, sent me like a whole email with various suggestions for more revisions. She also took time, like we said, to review my query letter and synopsis, gave me some great feedback on revising those, which I did. So that part of the program is really gonna just depend on what your project needs, what your mentor has time for. Remember, this is like a volunteer thing, so they might only have time to do a certain amount of work with you. It just depends. So that part is just gonna be something you have to find out on your own. In the midst of all this revision work, the SmoochPit mentees were added to a Discord channel. This was another aspect of the program that I was not expecting, but that was so incredibly valuable. Honestly, if you go on the SmoochPit website and you're reading through all the details, I think they sell themselves short on the website because they gave us so many cool opportunities that are not listed at all on the website. So obviously the Discord channel was a place where the mentees could connect with each other, encourage each other, cheer each other on, all that kind of stuff, which is great. But it was also a place to learn and to give each other feedback. There were several weeks during the program, mainly in, when was it? Like November, December timeframe, where we had the opportunity to share our 1-sentence pitch, a 1-paragraph pitch, our comp titles, and our author bios. And they kind of did like almost like a little lesson, like here's what a 1-sentence pitch should include, here's some examples, okay, now go for it. So anyway, we could post ours, and then other mentees could chime in and say like, ooh, this part was really great, this part needed a little clarification, this wording confused me. Like, so cool. And like I said, there's 41 other mentees, and so we all were getting a ton of feedback on improving these pieces of our package. If you're a writer, you know how incredibly valuable feedback is from like-minded writers and how hard it can be to find that sometimes. So to have this whole group everybody working together to improve these pieces, like, invaluable in my opinion. Our particular group also ended up sharing our query letters and our first 5 pages with each other if we wanted. All of this was like optional, but I think pretty much everyone did that and the first part. The query letter and first five pages, not as many people shared, but there was still a good number of us that did. And again, like super, super helpful to see people's input on your stuff. The Discord also had a channel where the mentors were part of it, and you could ask them questions about traditional publication at large, which is really great. We set up Discord calls with other mentees to like meet each other and like hang out for a little while, so that was super fun. We also had the opportunity to sign up for a buddy matchup kind of situation where you were paired up with another mentee and you could swap either full projects, first 50 pages, whatever you guys like agreed on to do. So I signed up for that, got paired up with another mentee. We swapped the first 50 pages. I got feedback from her. Like, it was so good. They also arranged for a call with 2 literary agents where we were able to submit questions to them, and then they answered the questions like in a little Q&A forum type of situation, which again, like anytime you can listen to a lit agent talk about stuff, like go listen, because I find it super, super helpful to know what are they looking for, what's cool, what's not, all that kind of stuff. As we got into January, we were all gearing up for the sort of capstone project, right, of this whole thing. The main event and the conclusion to the program is the agent showcase. The program organizers also compiled a catalog. There were some agents who expressed interest in the showcase, but for whatever reason, they weren't able to participate. So they sent them a catalog with all of our information. So presumably if they look at it in a month, they can email us directly and ask for more information. With the agent showcase, this was another thing, like I didn't get that this is what this was. I thought the agent showcase was the profiles they have for each of us on their Instagram platform. This is very cool, but that is not the agent showcase. The agent showcase is a password protected portion of the website. They reached out to a bunch of literary agents and compiled a list of over 70 agents who wanted to participate. Each of us had our own page that included our query pitch. It included the first 5 pages, the synopsis, and our author bio. Agents could then log in, they could look through the projects that interested them. If they wanted more information from you, they could leave a comment at the bottom. It was kind of set up like a blog post. So they could leave a comment saying, hey, love your stuff, query me here, or send an email here, whatever they want to say, to request more materials. And so that is what was the conclusion of the program that ended yesterday, the 21st. And here we are on Saturday, the 22nd, and I have in fact received the results from the agent showcase, which I'll tell you next time. No, just kidding. I'll tell you today. The Discord over the past week has been pretty hilarious because everyone is like, we want to know immediately what's happened. But we had to wait. We weren't able to see any comments as they were coming in, which was a good thing. So they sent us messages through Discord to share whether we had requests or not. And I got my message a little earlier today. I did have some requests. They asked us on Discord. I think this was meant more specifically within Discord, but I'm gonna carry it over here just because I'm a rule follower a lot of times. They asked us like not to share exact numbers because they didn't want there to be any kind of weird competitive, or comparison game kind of stuff going on, which I totally respect and understand. So I'm not gonna share that, but I will say I had requests plural. I'm very excited. I need to go in and like research some of them and see if it's somebody that I want to send my materials to. Just because somebody requested doesn't mean you have to submit something to them. If you see something, I don't know what you would find, but if you see something that for whatever reason you're like, I don't know if that would fit for me, you don't have to send them anything. But yeah, I'm very excited. Remember last week when I was like, where's my motivation? I have some motivation. I got a little more motivation this week. So I still have some revisions that I'm working through on my project. Once that's completed, I'll be able to send this off to agents who requested full manuscripts. Pretty cool. So I'm very excited. I'm very, I just feel like, what a great experience. What a great experience this has been. Even if I hadn't gotten any requests at all, like this still would have been such a cool experience. If you were thinking of applying, I would highly recommend it. I don't feel like there was a single aspect of this program that I was like, this could have been better, or this was weird. Like, I don't feel like I had any negative anything to say or any constructive criticism to give. It was all very well organized. Like I said, the program organizers were just so encouraging and so motivational, and just like everybody was rooting for everybody, and it was just the best. It's been really, really fun. So, like I said earlier in the video, if you're considering applying for some future round and you have more questions, let me know. Comment, Instagram DM, email, whatever you want. I'm happy to chat. So, I have plenty of work to do to prepare to send out the full manuscript to multiple agents. Like, excuse me? Oh my gosh, okay, it's fine. We're gonna be cool and not freak out. I have a lot to do. Thank you guys so much for following along. If you've been here on my channel and you've watched the saga since like August, where I was like, am I gonna apply? And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm applying and I'm stressed out. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I applied, now I have to wait. And then it was like, I got selected. Yeah, like if you've been here through the whole thing, thank you for watching. Thank you for all of you who've left like encouraging comments and all the support you guys have given me over the past many months. I really, really appreciate it. So if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, you can click the subscribe button. I usually post videos on Fridays. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.